When you can actually see your profit for the year in dollars and cents, it gets you more in the notion of selling corn, knowing that I can lock in a $50,000 profit or whatever the profit is. You want to lock it in. If I know I can make that much profit in a year, I will be in business next year.
Good afternoon. Welcome to GrainTV. It's Friday, October 24th. Today we started the morning with positive results, but ended the day on the red. Cody, what was happening today?
Absolutely. In the earlier part of the session, we had some news about some Russian wheat, which you'll touch on a little bit later here. But we started off very positive, ended up closing down corn down 7 1/4, soybeans down 14 3/4, and wheat in Chicago down 8.5 cents here. Let's take a look at the chart. One of the things that I talked about yesterday is the fact that soybeans blasted higher here in the all throughout the day, and that was a lot to do with the surprise in export sales.
We had that 30-cent gain yesterday driven by that surprising export number, didn't we?
Exactly. 2 million metric tons were reported sold, and really analysts were only expecting about 1 million. So it surprised people. I think that it added a lot of buying in the market, and I think with that sort of buying, some people probably got that sort of that margin call, ending up kind of exaggerating the rise. But today, I think we kind of returned to more of a norm. We're consolidating around that 50-day moving average, and I would expect that to continue here into next week. Let's take a look at corn and wheat as well. You'll notice corn tried to make movements higher here, but met some resistance. It's breaking out into resistance here, and that resistance right around 360. When you look at wheat, also an area that's breaking out into resistance. Tried to get up there right around 540. That was a resistance level, ended up selling off to the 50-day moving average. And then when you look at Kansas City wheat here, trying to make a rally, gets up to around 620, ends up closing below the 50-day moving average. That, to me, is not very positive here for that Kansas City wheat.
Yeah, we started the morning in really good territory with wheat. Wheat actually leading the charge with an 8-cent gain higher, really driven by this news of Soviet Econ, the private analyst group, projecting a 15 to 20% drop in wheat production in Russia, but it's early season. This is fall planted wheat. They're using greenness indexes. Yes, the crop is a little droughty right now going into dormancy, but I think the market just got a little excited about this. I don't think this is a game changer right now. We still have a lot of growing season left in Russia, but it did get the market's attention for a split second there. And as you said, we traded lower by the end of the day.
So this is definitely something that producers should be keeping in mind here as we move throughout the winter. Keep in mind the dryness that could affect with some very cold weather there if we get that. So it's something you should keep in mind about, but not necessarily something you should trade on immediately. Is that right?
That's my take. We also had news of Australia. Australia is actually in their harvest season. There are some issues with their crop. But again, we have such abundant wheat supplies globally. Stockpiles are plentiful. I just think it's going to take a lot more than early season dryness in Russia to correct this market and turn it around substantially.
Well, that sounds fair enough. Now let's switch over to the cash market because we have seen some interesting movement in the barges. Of course, we rallied sharply in the later part of September, and then we sold off here as harvest was delayed. How is this affecting the cash market, and what opportunities are there for producers?
Yeah, we did see this massive run-up in barge rates. Obviously, a large crop is going to put a strain on barge capacity, and we saw rates go up as a result. When rates go up, basis to farmers goes down substantially. So we actually have sort of corrected from that massive run up, and we're seeing basis levels like in Illinois, for example, actually better now than they were at the start of the month. So basis in Illinois is up 14 cents since the start of the month. In Missouri, they're up 8 cents. In areas where there's not sort of the barge rate effect, we're seeing more traditional types of basis movements. The plain states, especially up into South Dakota and North Dakota, where they're already pretty well wrapped up on bean harvest, we've seen 7 to 10 cent drops. Obviously, we have that rail transportation issue that you've touched on before. So, my guesstimation is with about 50% of the crop cut as of now, I think we're probably pretty close to a bottom on soybean basis. Unlike corn, which we touched on yesterday's episode, there's not as much carry opportunity for farmers to lock in really healthy premiums going out 3 to 6 months. There are some of these crushers and some of these river terminals will pay you, but it's not as abundant as the case of corn.
That sounds fair enough. So producers out there looking to market their cash grain, give us a call. The number is 877-472-4607, and we can actually set you up with a platform that helps you monitor your best selling opportunities. And of course, let's just switch over here to weather. One last thing, I just wanted to touch on the 6 to 10 day outlook. So we've had great harvest progress here in the last few days. Looks like in the next 4 days we're going to have a great window for producers to wrap up or really make a significant dent here in the acreage that they need to cut. But when you look here at the 6 to 10 and the 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook, you'll notice that it does look wetter here for North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan here. So keep that in mind, keep that in your plans here. The window of opportunity really for the next 4 days for those northern states to cut their...
And probably more important for the corn harvest in those areas. We do have a lot of ethanol plants in that Minnesota, North Dakota area, so they may start to run out a little bit if they're not getting the grain off the combine like they're expecting.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. If you have any questions, again, our number is 877-472-4607. Have a great and safe weekend harvesting.